Oh, so actually, I'll wait till Austin comes back and Huffy.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Back right now. Um, so my dad is like, "Hey, do you mind if I post your like best of 10 episodes on on Facebook?" I was like, "Sure, I don't care." And so he posted whatever. Then my sister FaceTimed me later. She's like, "Hey, what's up? Just want to see what's going on. I'm chilling here, grandma, whatever." My grandma's like, "Yeah, I saw your pod." I was like, "Oh, nice." And like all of a sudden it's like of just all the crazy shit that I've said. And I was like,
Both talking about
she's like,
shit and stuff.
she's like, "Yeah, it was cute." I was like, "Thanks." So
You didn't say anything crazy in the best bits vid.
no, not in the best bits, but in the last episode I did compare eating Chipotle to eating butt. So but hey, if my grandma is a watcher, sorry
She's
for
about.
all the crazy shit that I say.
Is she subbed?
But thanks for the sub.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for the subs. And also, happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
And welcome to the episode 11 4th of July special.
Woo.
Yeehaw.
I want to point out that everybody is dressed pretty festive for the occasion. Everybody has a tank on of some sort. Sun's out, guns out. But I think I'm doing it better than everybody because I can see I have an eagle on my tank.
That bird's eyes are kind of scary. I want that to be the clip art for this video.
Spicy Senorita on the Bro Football Focus podcast?
Hanging out.
So I think I'm just going to do the rest like this.
That's fine, dude.
Special guest host, some random chick from a biker bar?
Whoa, I think my thighs look that nice.
They're pretty juicy, H-Dog. Not
Yep.
gonna lie.
The pockets were sticking out and everything, the sign of a good jort. But yeah. So welcome to episode 11. Hot off of our 10th episode spectacular, which was riveting success. Whoa, who just highlighted everything?
Relax. Anytime something gets highlighted in the Google Doc, you freak out.
It's everything, though.
Yes, just relax.
One click of a button could
There's
destroy
that
everything.
undo button, dude.
Well, someone's typing in fucking 72-point font. Who does that?
I told you how that happened. It was an accident.
Yeah, so I fixed your accident.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, you're
Sit
welcome.
down, fellas. The show must go on.
Yeah. Special honorable guest, Nick Huffman.
Happy to be back. Happy to be
AKA
part
Huffy.
of July 4th spectacular.
A previous guest host and then also previous Bulls research / physical help team. Give us a little bit of insight on that. How was it being Bulls pool boy?
Pretty difficult. He almost cut his hand open like 7 different times. Had to help him with a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Because I know that is a dominant hand.
Yeah.
Now, Jake, speaking of Bull, I think this is the perfect time for a weekly Bull update. How's he doing? And also, at some point, you could maybe pop the pic of his gross hand up.
Yeah, so a little backstory on that. My dad and I were on the phone. I said, "Hey, how's everything going?" He's like, "Good, we're going to be going back to the hospital. They're going to take his bandages off on Wednesday." And I said, "Yeah, definitely don't send me pictures of that." And then Wednesday comes along, and I'm driving to work. I'm like, "Oh, message from Dad. One image." It's usually like Mick or some, I don't know, some random thing. And I was like, all right, open it up. I'm like, okay. And he just blatantly disregarded me saying, definitely don't send me pictures. I mean, because I'm not into it. I was never into the show like Scarred or the Saw movies. I'm just not. I get the heebie-jeebies real easy. So I just saw that. I'm like, hey, thanks for just not listening to me at all. And he's like, oh, I don't remember that. I'm like, whatever. But it's pretty fucked up. His scar is like it's like from here, and mind you, when he was describing it to me, he's like, yeah, just take the corner right by your pointer finger and then draw it down to like the bottom of your hand. So I'm thinking it's going to be something like this. It's actually like dead center all the way down to here. It's fucked up. It is so
It literally looks like the way that you're supposed to kill yourself.
even just thinking about it, man, I'm just like, oh, God.
It
I don't know how you didn't like Scarred with host Jacoby. That show was sick.
I hated that show.
That's
That,
ridiculous.
and also 1,000 Ways to Die.
I was
that
gonna.
show.
Why would you hate that show?
That show's so whack.
Oh,
I like
did-
that show a lot less than Scarred, and I will say that Matt Nuara liked 1,000 Ways to Die a lot.
You got a problem with Spike TV?
Nah. Well, maybe I do, apparently.
A little bit, yeah.
What was that one with the dog? There, two double
Dog Eat Dog.
Dog Eat Dog, yeah. That was a good one.
Do you like Spike TV or True TV more?
I think True TV? I don't know. I don't watch
You
TV.
like Repo Games, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Repo Men.
No, Repo Game.
Storage Wars. I don't know if that's on that.
Practical Joke.
Yeah, oh, of course. That's my favorite show. I love Impractical Jokers.
Dark Horse, The Carbonaro Effect.
I love that one, too. Ice Road Truckers. I could be on a completely wrong network. I don't know.
Speaking of Ice Road Truckers, do you want to flip the script and start the Hot 32?
No. I want to talk more about Ice Road Truckers.
Save that for the other show.
For the Ice Road Truckers podcast.
It's a spin-off.
Okay, we'll hop into it. In Arizona, PFF has receiver DeAndre Hopkins leading in most consecutive catches without a drop since 2006 with 225 consecutive catches. That's very impressive.
Holy God.
In Hot Atlanta, a Photoshop picture of Julio Jones makes the new Falcons gradient uniforms look not so bad.
I agree.
In Baltimore, Rex Ryan claims Lamar Jackson will be greater than great this year.
In Buffalo, New York recently released guidelines prohibiting fans in stadiums and tailgates. Hello to Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
That's sad. In Carolina, some analysts speculate that the Panthers could fill a gap by trading for Browns' David Njoku.
In Chi-Town, allegedly Mitch Trubisky has made phenomenal gains this season.
Muscular gains or football gains?
I don't know. Just the quotes were phenomenal gains.
Up in Cincinnati, Trey Waynes' contract is in limbo and has yet to receive a single penny of his $5 million signing bonus due to complications from COVID-19.
Not even one penny?
Nope.
Wow.
In Cleveland, tight end David Njoku is requested to be traded before the start of training.
In Dallas, some analysts put up the Cowboys along with the Packers and the Steelers as the teams that represent the United States.
Up in Mile High City, Denver, the Broncos will kick off training camp July 28th.
In Detroit, Motor City, quarterback Matt Stafford received some news during the gender reveal of his fourth child. He will be having a fourth daughter. I know how to read ahead.
I think he should give that baby a chance to decide what it wants to be.
Good point, Jake.
It's a little too early to assume there. In Green Bay, Brett Favre believes Jordan Love will be used in the Green Bay offense the same way Taysom Hill is used in New Orleans offense.
In Houston, some rumors float around the league that Antonio Brown may possibly become a Texan.
Whoa, what?
In Indianapolis, former Colts tight end Eric Ebron recently ripped the Colts front office on Twitter.
Down in Duval, Jawan Taylor hauled in a 400-pound Goliath grouper Walt Bishop.
Impressive.
Kansas City. Earlier this morning, Dez Bryant says that Tyreek Hill is the best player in the NFL besides Patrick Mahomes.
In LA, the Chargers may have their eye on signing David Njoku.
David Njoku is our new Jadeveon Clowney. Oh, the other LA team, the Los Angeles Rams, tight end Bryson Hopkins was too intriguing for the Rams to pass up in the NFL draft.
It's real recent.
Wow.
Oh, over in Las Vegas, PFF ranks the Las Vegas Raiders as the #1 offensive line entering the 2020 season. We'll see if they'll be able to keep Derek Carr off his back for the upcoming season.
In Miami, Mike Gesicki proposed to his girlfriend on a boat.
Wow.
You could say she was quite the catch.
Oh!
In Minnesota, Vikings news bulletin The Viking Age is still butthurt about Stephon Diggs leaving, publishing an article titled 6 Areas Where Adam Thielen is Better Than Stephon Diggs.
Yikes. New England, the Patriots, worst to first in a period of a week. The Patriots signed former NFL MVP Cam Newton to a 1-year, $1 million contract.
That's just a fantastic deal.
Yes,
Down in the
For the
Saints are expecting more from Marcus Davenport in his 3rd year.
In New York, Kyler Murray has asked the Giants to change their name, saying it's offensive to short people. That was
That's not true.
Oh, God, I must threw up. Jeez, that was so funny.
I couldn't find any Giants news, so.
The New York Jets, NFL.com says that Jamal Adams could possibly, quote, doom the Jets defense.
Interesting. Philadelphia offensive tackle Lane Johnson does not expect the Eagles' offensive line to miss a beat this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the city of Steel, will Alex Highsmith eventually push Bud Dupree off the Pittsburgh Steelers roster?
In San Francisco, Raheem Mostert has reportedly requested a pay raise.
Ooh.
Maybe there's controversy there.
In Seattle, corner Shaquille Griffin tweets that he would love to work with Antonio Brown.
Down in Gronka Bay, rookie Travis Johnson may just be the league's next Taysom Hill.
Ooh. In Tennessee, Titans' Darrington Evans was among the most explosive running backs in the 2020 NFL Draft.
And possibly the biggest news out of all of this, in Washington, FedEx and Nike, who owns the stadium name rights and is one of Washington's largest sponsors, asked the team to change their name. The Redskins released a statement saying they'll look into it.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So, Huffy, being the guest, what do you want to talk about that's not the last one? Because I feel like that might come up later.
Yeah, that one and the Patriots is going to be talked about later as well.
I'll talk about Antonio Brown because I think he makes his way back into the NFL for this upcoming year, but I have no clue where he's gonna. I know Russell Wilson's been pushing for Seattle to pick him up, see if they can do something with him, but people are avoiding like he's a plague.
Well, they just Russell Wilson just posted a video he's working out with him, and there's also rumors that they want him in Tampa Bay. Well, at least Tom Brady does. I don't think Bruce Arians wants him.
That offense would be ridiculous if they added AB.
There would be no bad option to throw to.
Nope. David Njoku goes down there too. You're like, oh, God.
I think the issue with AB isn't he under league review for some incident still, and he might just get suspended for an entire season anyway, or indefinite.
No. Yeah, he's got to be by the league first, and then they'll be able to pick him up.
Yeah.
No,
I think he needs to go to a place. I mean, best for him. I think he needs to go to a place where people are just crazy because he's obviously on the fritz. So, like, Tampa Bay would be a great spot for him because it's Florida. Like, that's run-of-the-mill behavior right there. Whereas, like, Seattle, I think he's a little too high energy. It's such a down area because of all the weather. You know,
AB
personality match.
AB recently spent time with Deion Sanders on his ranch at his personal home, and it really chilled AB out. I think he's got a different perspective on football and in life.
Well, it's like some Dr. Phil type stuff. Send him to a ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a little bit of integrity back in his life.
Yeah.
I do think Houston would be an interesting fit, but I don't think Bill O'Brien wants any part of that.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien was sick of DeAndre Hopkins shit. I could only imagine putting Antonio Brown.
DeAndre Hopkins seems like a really nice guy.
Bill O'Brien doesn't like elite receivers, so that would never work out.
I think it's
What are you
interesting.
talking about? They have Will Fuller the fifth.
Bill O'Brien would rather have 4 B+ options than 1 A option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting how much off the field stuff matters to like players even playing now as opposed to like 2000.
Even just a little bit ago with Adrian Peterson doing what happened with his kid, and then he didn't even miss like a week, and then everyone made a big fuss about it, and then they re-reviewed their review and then suspended him.
I look back in the day to when Pac-Man Jones was just shooting people and drinking lean and doing thug shit all the time. Never got suspended. He got arrested like 15 times.
I don't know about you, but lean and promethazine is the breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the permanence and prevalence of social media, Any of that happens, everybody in the locker room finds out about it. That's all they're talking about, and it's not good for the team,
So you think NFL players should not be allowed on social media?
No, I didn't say that.
Kind of sound like you did.
No, I think NFL players are people, and they should be able to do whatever they want. Except for kill people.
That's a good line to draw. All right, who's next on this little Joni?
That would be Austin or Jake.
Oh, man. And you're saying that we can't talk about the Redskins? Or
the Patriots? Just because, or if we do, we should talk about it last because we're definitely going to fade into that.
Yeah, let me just scroll through here, dude.
All right, if you're deciding, I can just go. I want to talk about the photo of Julio Jones in the new jerseys because I completely agree. I think they look sick now. I thought they looked pretty good before, but now it's okay, seeing it on a skilled position, it does look pretty sweet, and it's also not as stark of a gradient as I thought before. I thought it was literally black, a gradient, and then red.
I think that's going to be the same with all these jerseys. Even the Rams ones that I think are atrocious. I think once we see them on the field, under the lights, they'll look a little better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with the Tampa Bay uniforms, same thing happened.
But we haven't seen those on field under the lights yet,
Yeah, but I mean, still seeing pictures, real photos of players in them rather than just renders.
Yeah, but I mean, that Julio Jones picture wasn't real.
You're not real.
Do you think Julio Jones is a top 3 receiver in the league?
Yes. I think he's the number 1 receiver in the league.
That's what Larry
Hopkins is.
Told Kyler.
What, Jake?
You don't think DeAndre Hopkins is the number 1 receiver?
No.
He's got strong hands and long hair.
I think he's got the best hands, and he's super physical, but Julio Jones
smells good.
Has just as good as almost as good as hands, is significantly faster, taller, can jump higher, and is just more agile.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald told Kyler that man over there, Julio Jones, has absolutely zero weakness in his game and is easily the best receiver in the league.
I watched a matchup between Julio Jones and Jalen Ramsey last season, and Julio Jones was smoking Jalen Ramsey, just crushing him. But Matt Ryan is just not good anymore, dude. He's not good. He cannot throw a deep ball.
Are you saying he's mentally broken since the Super Bowl?
I don't think it's mentally. I think he's just never had a strong arm, and it's getting worse as he ages.
He's Tom Brady now, but at age 34 or however old Matt Ryan is.
Yeah, I can only imagine Julio with a cannon quarterback.
Would you still put DeAndre Hopkins in your top 3?
Yeah.
Who would be your third one then? If it's Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, who would be your
third?
Don't you dare say Stephon Diggs.
Let's see.
I probably would have put mine at Stephon Diggs.
Maybe Michael Thomas.
Zay Jones, maybe.
I don't think Michael Thomas is that good. I think he's a product of the New Orleans system.
Maybe like a Tyreek Hill.
Ooh.
I'd probably put Tyreek in there, dude.
I don't know. I don't think Michael Thomas is a product of his system.
I think he's good, but I think he can catch chance from Drew Brees all game long.
I don't know, dude. He's pretty consistent. Doesn't really drop a lot of stuff.
If you put Julio in that offense, he would do better than Mike Thomas.
Yeah, well, we said that Julio was the number one. Of course he would.
Yeah, but if you take Antonio Brown out of this list, I think right now you'd probably have to go Tyreek Hill number 3.
Yeah,
Not Chris Godwin.
And obviously he's like the best player in the league.
I don't even know if Chris Godwin's the best player on his team.
Chris Godwin's PFF grade for all of last year was better than Julio Jones's, Tyreek Hill's, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Would you rather have Mike Evans or Chris?
Yeah, Chris Godwin's getting that second corner. Mike Evans is getting double teamed, taking all that coverage.
Just telling you what the grade is, dog.
Well, that's PFF.
Oh, the grade.
FH, dog. And, my gut feeling is saying Mike Evans is probably a little better receiver. He's just huge and fat.
And old.
No, he's like, what is he, 27, 28?
All right, Austin, lay it on us. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess I'll talk about, Minnesota still being butthurt about Stephon Diggs. Dude, I think it's funny because anytime Stephon Diggs posts something and I read the comments, it's like a bunch of fucking Vikings fans being haters saying he's a drama queen and stuff. And they're like, good luck in Buffalo, dude. He's going to tear your locker room apart. I think it's just funny, like, how hard of a time they're having dealing with it.
Would you be sad if he does, in fact, tear the locker room apart?
You can't tear Buffalo's locker room apart. It's
Yeah.
so hit by Sean McDermott.
They have such like a good culture built there that I think it'd be very hard for that to do anything. Like they'd probably cut him before they let anything crazy happen.
What if him and Eric Wood don't get along?
Eric Wood is a like a beat reporter for the Bills now.
What if they don't get along?
Hunter, that's the Where Are They Now of the week, dude. You just exposed it.
No,
What?
not Eric Wood. I saw
That would be a good one, though.
it would be a good one for sure.
Did you know at one point all 5 of the Bills' starting linemen last names had to do with penises, including Eric Wood?
Really?
Yeah. At one point.
Is that
Are you
intentional?
counting Richie Incognito in there?
I think so.
How is that penisy?
I don't know.
I use the word incognito to describe my penis all the time.
But yeah.
So, the one I want to talk about, I think it's interesting that Pro Football Focus thinks the Raiders has the number 1 O-line entering 2020. Just off the top of my head, that doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, I'm not a big, expert on the hosses.
Not a nasty.
Yeah, I'm not a nasty guy. But although I appreciate the nasties, I just don't know much about them. So I'm going to let you guys handle this one.
I feel like someone like the Cowboys probably still has a better line than the Raiders.
The Cowboys line has been overrated ever since like that one really good season. They do have a lot of stars.
I know, but they still have Tyrone Smith. I think Travis Frederick is back. Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. So, like, that's pretty solid.
I'd say the Raiders, and I watched them a lot last year, and their line is super fucking good, but they're just like big, huge bosses. They got Trent Brown, who's like 400 pounds, and they had Richie Incognito, who had a super good year, but he's like freaking, he's got to be 38 years old.
Yeah.
So, and then Rodney Hudson's like one of the best centers in the league.
He's ranked the number 1 center by PFF.
Yeah.
I think PFF is just hard for the Raiders for some reason.
Do you think the Raiders make the playoffs as they have added like weapons to their offense?
No.
They have Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, Nelson Aguilar, Mariota backing up Carr.
None of those people you named are great playmakers.
Josh
You know-
Jacobs is pretty good. I like Josh Jacobs.
I've noticed that everybody likes to say, "Oh, this guy could be the next Taysom Hill." Well, what about Marcus Mariota, dude? Throw him in there, have him do some gadget stuff.
And isn't Taysom Hill supposed to be the next Russell Wilson?
According to Bull.
Isn't Taysom Hill 29?
So basically, no,
I mean,
the Raiders.
Mariota couldn't do what Taysom Hill does. He's not thick enough. He'd break too easy.
Taysom Hill's 30 years old. He's 29.
So, listen, the only thing I like about Marcus Mariota is his mustache, and that's it.
He does have a pretty sweet stash.
Yeah.
The Raiders have Hunter Renfro, so that'll get him through.
Yeah.
The
Also-
ace in the slot.
So, listen, success in the NFL, everybody knows, it stems from the Los, okay? If you have the best line in football, why are you so poopy?
I mean, listen, they're moving. They're changing stadiums. They're changing locations. They're
Huffy.
rebranding.
They
They
have
got
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller did super good. Jacobs did super good. I think their offense, like, it had nothing to do with their line why they sucked. It was their defense was horrible.
Do you think it's the Fresno Freaks' fault? Derek Carr?
Are you talking? Yeah, you talking about the Carmeister?
Yeah, that's a nickname I just made up for him.
You see, dude, Derek Carr has been torn apart the past couple of years, but his stats are super good if you look at him. Like, I think he's had almost 5,000 yards, if not 5,000 yards last season.
He just posted his career high with 4,000 passing yards last year and a completion percentage above 70%.
Yeah, Matt Stafford also had like 3 years where he was always throwing over like 500 yards, and it didn't translate to wins.
Yeah, but once again, dude, you got to take into account the defense, and they don't have, Amari Cooper or any of these receivers. Like, who are the Raiders' receivers? Zay Jones?
Zay Jones, Hunter Renfro, Nelson Aguilar,
Oh,
Ruggs, and
Yeah,
they added
Henry Ruggs.
yeah. Now he didn't play last season, dude.
Yeah. And Nelson Aguilar sucks.
Nelson Aguilar is horrible. And that one year, he dropped like everything that touched his hands.
And
Braylon Edwards.
how is their O-line the best? Isn't Colton Miller a starter? Doesn't he suck?
He sucks. But they got Gabe Jackson, dude.
Don't they have Arden Key on the defense? Doesn't he suck?
He's horrible. I'm telling you, the defense is bad. The defense is really bad.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so PFF thinks the Raiders are cool. I think they stink.
And that just proves that PFF doesn't know shit. Which is
Yeah,
why
that's-
we need to continue the beef.
Whoa!
Not the beef up, but we haven't executed the beef yet.
That's what numbers will get you.
Are you telling me BFF is beefing with PFF right now?
Sure.
We said like episode 3 that we
I-
were going to start beefing with PFF.
I said that I'm beefing with Chris Collinsworth, who invented PFF. So,
I think we also need to start a beef with Pardon My Take, because they took one of our games.
yeah.
They did outright steal our intellectual property, and ours was better. It was. I mean,
Yeah.
even me being a fan of theirs, ours was better.
Yeah. We're thinking about filing a copyright claim, but we don't want to be asked.
Good. I mean, shit. Huffy was part of Bull's legal team.
It's true.
I'm sure.
Huff and I did take a couple law classes in college, so we.
All you need to do is be fluent in bird law.
Well, I don't know if you want Huffy on your law team, to be fair.
And you guys got to understand, Bull did go to college one semester to try.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
that has to translate. He does say he likes to argue, and that's what lawyers do. So
I once took down Huffy and another law student in a battle of wits in a class.
There was 4 people on our team. It wasn't just me.
No, it was you and a law student
And 2 other people.
who were equally as smart, confident, funny, and brave.
I mean,
But-
we could disagree there.
Now, Huffy, if I recall, under eminent domain, we can pretty much do anything that we want.
Yeah.
We had this professor who spent like 4 months teaching us about eminent domain, which is when the government can take your property to like build public highways and stuff. And like he basically was saying like you can do Do anything with eminent domain.
Joseph.
It took him 4 months to tell us about it.
You can also do anything with the magic bullet theory.
No, you can't, as I learned.
But important news of the week. I think we should get into the Redskins
Yeah,
not being the
Very
Redskins anymore.
chaotic.
give me a second to find my celly because we do have a fan, some fan input. It's right here. This
What?
is my gooch area.
Speaking of which, fans were growing in numbers. I think the YouTube last time I checked had 31 subscribers.
Come
Yeah,
on.
thanks to everyone.
Getting there.
Let me try and find this.
What do you guys think would be an appropriate replacement for the Redskins name?
We had this
So,
discussion like 3 shows ago.
Yeah,
Huh?
right now Cerny is on the Washington Wombats. I think Hunter put up the DC Redskins.
No.
It changes that part of it.
No.
That's the
So
issue.
I think I said I saw an Onion article that said that, and I thought it was funny. I said that they should go back to their roots in the John Riggin days and just be called like the Hogs.
That'd be a good homage to the good old days.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the ways that the Redskins fan base wouldn't be as upset.
I personally think Dan Snyder should dig his heels in the ground and not change the name, but I've seen that they're saying they should change it to the Red Tails, which was like a World War II all-black fighter pilot division,
Muskegee.
or just like the Warriors or Braves or something, like another name for Native
Warriors!
I like the Washington Generals.
the Generals.
Yeah.
Our fan submission from fan Logan, he says he wants them to change their name to the Washington Redskin Potatoes.
Yeah, I've seen some good fan art of that and just having a big old potato on their helmet.
That'd be funny. Speaking of potatoes, Huffy and I were in the Popeyes drive-thru the other day, and I don't know how it was brought up, but he told me he was going to give me like currency from Turkey, and I said, "Oh, Huffy, that's weird. I thought the currency from Turkey was gravy."
Ooh, that's a good one, Hunter.
It was funny in the moment.
It was funny right now. I got the same level of comedy, I think, as Huffy actually did.
I don't know. Huffy laughed pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of those things that have been kind of like in the NFL that they should change their name, but it's probably actually going to happen now. So it'll be interesting, one, to see what they go to, obviously, but the reaction of not only the fans, but there are going to be so many reactions of people who don't even watch football that are just going to be rabble, 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 rabble. Like, where my country going?
Yeah.
But, I mean, to me, the Redskins being bad lends itself to changing the name. Like, if it's
Just go for
if it's like the Patriots or something, it's like, how are you going to do that? Like, you just won how many Super Bowls with the Patriots, where it's like, shit, you guys are losing and doing dick. Yeah, change your name. I don't care.
I mean, that's kind of ridiculous because the Redskins are one of the most like storied, long-standing franchise in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely.
So to just erase like the entire NFL history over a couple years of dookiness, and because some people are upset, and I'm not even sure who's really upset because there's so many polls that say 90% of Native Americans questioned on if it's offensive. They say no. I think the logo was actually designed by a Native American, and they like started it off to like pay homage to them, not really in like a disrespectful way.
Yeah, I literally couldn't care less at all.
Like, why would you do something to be demeaning and then have that be the logo that represents your whole team?
Exactly.
I don't think it was ever meant to be demeaning, but I think when, like, at the time when the team was being formed and stuff, it wasn't necessarily demeaning, but that was like an okay term to describe a Native American and whatnot. So obviously, like, today's day and age, not cool. So teams change their names and logos
But
like
it's
all
not
the time.
cool with because 9 out of 10 Native Americans say they're not offended by it. And
Can
it's
you
like a
show
whole
me that
time.
stat? Was it from Fox News?
It's on when you just type it in. It's on the Washington Post on the Google.
Oh, do you want me to trust the Washington Post?
It's also on CBS Sports.
I need to know who did the survey, and unless it was Sabermetrics, I can't trust it.
With Nike refusing to sell Redskins gear, I feel like they're saying they're looking into it, but I feel like a change is definitely coming to this.
Yeah, I think
So,
Adam Schefter tweeted that, like, make no mistake, they're changing their name.
I think it's pretty imminent because, like you said, with Nike and FedEx, who own like the stadium naming rights, that's like their two biggest sponsors. And especially if this season goes and there's no ticket sales for the fans and stuff, like
Yeah.
they're gonna need that money real bad. So
Not even football related, but this inspired the Cleveland Indians to also review their team name, and they're in the process of looking into it as well.
Now, see, and obviously, like, same thing happened when, like, the Oilers got changed. But, like, and that does suck that, like, it's obviously going to be forgotten over time just through not, out of sight, out of mind. But I wonder if there's going to be more fallout. If there are going to be Redskins fans that are like, fuck this. Like, I'm not a fan anymore.
There definitely will be.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
is it going to, in the long run, hurt their franchise?
I think the current fan base it'll absolutely hurt for sure. Like the middle-aged white dudes who are diehard Redskins fans. But like the Oilers example you brought up, I don't think the Oilers were around for 80 years or however long the Redskins have been around.
That's a good point.
So yeah, I don't know. All I know is if it doesn't matter if 9 out of 10 people aren't offended, it's about the one person who is kind of.
But that's also ridiculous because then these people who are offended have nothing to do with the franchise, and then you can open up this can of wormholes. Like, dude, what about the Buccaneers? Dude, Buccaneers raped and pillaged people, dude.
So did Vikings, but like that's not like a derogatory term about a race, a class of people.
Yeah,
it's kind of bullshit. Just the culture we live in now. But hey, freedom isn't free. Freedom costs $1.05.
$1.05.
But yeah, honestly, my input, I think they should just go so far the opposite way. Just make something so plain and boring that no one can get offended, like the DC legislators or the Washington judicial branch.
I like that.
Something that I was like, oh, is this what you want? Like, we're playing over safe right now.
And it's just the judge is your logo with a gavel. Yeah.
That would be cool.
What if they changed their name to the Washington Reds?
And they still kept the logo.
Maybe the logo was just the color red.
The Washington very tan people. And it's just that guy.
I don't know. I just think it's like the principle of free speech and just maintaining, like it's not like Dan Snyder freaking created the franchise and named him that. He was a lifelong fan, bought the franchise and just wanted to preserve the history of it. So I just think it's kind of absurd.
Yeah, Austin, when you're
I'm not a fan of the Redskins or the name or the just the organization in general. I just think it's ridiculous to try to cancel everything and change everything just because a couple people get offended.
It's not, but that's like in the same light of saying that Confederate statues shouldn't come down because you want to preserve that history.
Also fair.
I mean, that's kind of different because Confederate statues are like paying tribute to these guys who fought for a losing cause and something bad. The Redskins organization liked the idea behind the Native Americans and like what went down, and they have them represent their team.
But some Native Americans and especially Native American leaders consider the term derogatory.
Hot take. What if they keep the logo, keep everything, but they change it to the Washington natives?
I don't know, dude. I think
the Washington indigenous peoples.
I think that's kind of the same thing as like saying the Warriors or the Braves or whatever. Like if they change it,
I think
I'd be fine with it. I just think I'm more along the principle of not just canceling everything because some
Oh
people
no,
are,
I
offended with everything, dude. And you're gonna like comedians can't even tell jokes anymore. Like it's getting really bad.
yeah, no, you definitely have a really good point there. But I think at this point, it's gonna change. Like they're going to, either way. Like
yeah. I just think the heart of the issue here, whether people find it derogatory or not, like it's named after a minority group of people,
yeah,
and that's not you can't do that.
yeah, it's crazy.
They did it for quite some time.
Yeah, and a lot of things happened for quite some time that weren't cool, and then people were like, "Oh, dang, that's actually not cool. Maybe we should stop." That's the point of life and growing.
No,
But speaking
don't
of
touch the Bill of Rights. Don't touch the Constitution. It's America.
growing, Cam Newton is going to be growing with Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I hope I can find the clip. I don't know if it was said after a recording was stopped, but at one point a few weeks ago, I had said the Patriots need to sign Cam Newton, and I'm pretty sure you guys are like, "No, it's just not going to happen." And Friday night,
It wasn't going to happen.
get the news. I'm laying in bed. We're about to fall asleep, and I just look at my phone and just go, "Oh my god!" And Monica's like, "Oh, what the fuck? What? I was like, Patriots signed Cam Newton. And she's like, "Oh, I thought there was like a spider in the bed or something." I was like, "Nah." Very happy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they're going to the Super Bowl, but
It is Bill Belichick.
It will be a very entertaining season, to say the least.
The Patriots defense has always been strong, especially with Belichick running at the helm. So they're going to be a good team. Like, they're not going to just fall to the bottom.
No, most definitely. But I mean, it's the teams that are good are really fucking good.
Jake, I don't know if you watched any of the last season that Cam Newton played. But
I didn't watch much Panthers games.
Yeah. Well, when he was playing before what's his face, the new guy on the Redskins came in.
Redskins?
Yeah.
Panthers?
No.
What?
The guy who replaced Cam Newton is on the Redskins now.
Oh, is he? I didn't know he got traded.
Oh, you're talking about Kyle Allen.
Yeah, because Ron Rivera liked him. But Cam Newton couldn't really throw the football very well. I don't know if that was because he was injured or what, but balls were
swing shoulder.
Balls were coming out like ducks. So I hope, because I like Cam Newton, that he does well on the Patriots.
I also, because I heard it was partially his shoulder and then partially his foot, because it had to do with like his planting foot or like something about that. But I mean, he's obviously had a lot of time off to work on himself and not get banged up. So I think he's probably feeling pretty fresh right now and wanting to prove shit to people that he should have been a starter and is a starter and still is MVP. So
he definitely snapped up, and I've seen some videos of him working out this off season. And as someone who's had some shoulder issues, I know that like the bench pressing and stuff he's doing, you cannot be doing if your shoulder's still hurt. And he looks jacked, like he looks huge. I think he's still going to be good this year.
Oh, I think so too.
The only reason I thought the Patriots wouldn't sign him is because I thought he was going to ask for a lot more money. I never thought he'd sign for $1 million contract.
Well, I think there's some contingency that it could go up to like $8 million or something like that.
Yeah. It can go up to like $7 million in incentives or something.
Yeah,
a certain.
And I mean, I think the contract. I mean, it is what it is, but I think he knows that this is like a prove it contract. So if he does good, the Patriots are obviously going to re-sign him for a real contract. But
I mean, maybe if they have the money for it, because if he does do good, he has the right to ask for more money than the Patriots might have.
And if he does good, he'll just be a free agent, and it'll just be highest bidder wins.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Next year.
But I did want to talk about that because I do think the signing for $1 million is pretty crazy. Like, I kind of understand the Jameis thing, even though he was like first overall pick and all that, like on the field never really translated to wins. Like Cam Newton is a proven winner, and if he's healthy, like I feel like there's really no question he's going to start in New England.
Oh, yeah.
Like Stidham is not going to start over Cam Newton.
I think Stidham will start over Cam Newton. At least, like, first game of the season will be Jared Stidham, dude. Belichick likes people who've been in his system for a long time, and he's not just going to throw Cam in there, never even meeting him or running through drills with him.
They've got 2 preseason games.
Stidham's been in there for a while.
Wasn't he a rookie last year?
Yeah, that's like he's been through their camp and their system, read the playbooks, played under Tom Brady. And Belichick loves Stidham, dude. Earlier this week, they said an anonymous AFC East head coach said that Jared Stidham will start and that Belichick is super into Stidham. And you can only surmise that was Adam Gase that said that, because I don't really see Brian Flores or Sean McDermott saying such things. But
I don't trust anything Adam Gase says with those crazy eyes. So
yeah.
I mean, you give Adam Gase a little bit of coke, and he's going to be texting reporters telling him crazy stuff. But I think Stidham will start probably, the first several games of the season, and then maybe Cam Newton will beat him out. And I think they might even just do that so he doesn't reach those incentives and they have to pay him more money.
So,
Be smart.
Austin, so these 2 preseason games that are allegedly going to happen, are you telling me Cam Newton, because he's the backup, is going to be playing a lot in these preseason games?
First of all, I'm not even sure that – I think they might shorten that even and take the whole preseason out, honestly. Because I could just see them not taking the chance on those extra 2 meaningless games with all the situation that's going on right now.
And while we were looking up the Hot 32, the Players Association unanimously voted for no preseason, to not do the 2 games.
Oh, there's not going to be a preseason now?
That's what the PA voted on.
Because, Hunter, if you think about it, the preseason, the last game, the starter starts for most of it. And Belichick – or the third game. So Belichick left Tom Brady in last year at 42 years old, left him in pretty much to the third quarter, I remember. He will definitely throw Cam Newton in there and see if he's hurt or not.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think
moving forward, moving forward after COVID, that the NFL should transition to a preseason that's 2 games long. Because I agree with the players saying that 4 games is just too long for a preseason. I think you should have training camps where teams meet with other teams and they can scrimmage. They already do that. You can do that more extensively. Shorten the preseason to 2 games. You get to see rookies in live action, and in the second game, you get to have your players in there, make sure your system's set, and then go straight into the regular season.
Yeah. No, I could agree with that. Just more time, especially being in your preseason workouts and all those OTAs and stuff, you're not getting live contact. And I think getting that, like you were saying, game for the backups, game for the starters, gives you that that first season pop that you need, and then you're just ready to go. Obviously they don't need a full preseason. It's not they've just been off doing dick on the off season. They've been practicing.
And a lot of teams do joint practices during their training camps, so you get a lot of that competitiveness of going up against someone who you don't know is not your friend.
Yeah.
And just think about how hard it is to play 10 high school games, let alone 10 college games, let alone 17 NFL games where these grown-ass men, half of them on steroids, are just destroying you.
Yeah. You're gonna especially when you got dudes that are above 300 pounds running sub 540s.
Yeah.
Now, I think the real question is, would you guys, let's say they eliminated the preseason completely. 1, do you think that's a good idea?
No.
Do you think there's even a need for the preseason?
I think you need a scrimmage type of deal just to see, because you're making roster decisions on a lot of guys. You got to cut down from 90 guys to 53.
Yeah.
So you got to, and you don't want to be cutting, some studs. You don't want to be cutting your Tom Brady you drafted in the 7th round, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that, and I think it's good for the fans to see the new guys, to also get like the morale behind them, rather than like, oh, these guys were signed and they're just they're like second or third string, and we aren't going to see them unless a player that we love goes down. So it's like, I think it's good for the players to have their time for the fans. Granted, preseason games don't get watched that much, but it's still like, you have your chance to show on television that you're a good player.
Okay, so second part to that. Let's say this whole 2 preseason game or no preseason sticks, and it goes forward even without like COVID and whatnot. Do you think they add games like regular games to the season then?
I think they're supposed to add an extra regular season game anyway, aren't they? Or
I
is
think
that
we're talking about it.
Yeah, and they got the extended playoff game, so that'll add an extra game for some people.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, if there's no preseason, do you just tack on like another week?
You might as well.
Or maybe have like a bonus week.
If you take off,
What would happen in that bonus week, Jake?
I don't know. Just give me a second. Think about it. Maybe they play on an island on the flames around the field or something.
I do think an island football league. That'd be pretty cool.
I think it's a bit of a stretch, dude, because when you get to the last game of the season, you already know who's out of the playoffs and who's in. So half the people are playing meaningless games, and then half the people are in the playoffs and just starting their backups. So
What if,
you can do just like prolong that?
Austin, what if the last extra week was basically like a playoffs of all the worst teams who weren't going to make it?
The toilet
and it's like a little tourney, and the worst one that makes it out of that gets a playoff spot.
But how would you do that? Have them play multiple tournament games in a week?
No, you play multiple games in the same day.
Yeah, like just gladiators.
It starts at 6 a.m. There's 5 or 6 football fields. All the games are going on at once. It's like a red zone, but they're all in the same area. And then it just moves on. And then the championship at that point, you're playing your 4th football game. Everyone's dead.
I do like the grittiness behind that, dude. Like, let's get that in there.
That's what the NFL is doing with COVID. If you end the season with the restart in Orlando, if you end the season and you're in the 8th spot and the person in the 9th spot is within 4 games of you, you have a playoff like week where the person in the 9th seed has to beat the 8th seed twice, but if the 8th seed beats the 9th seed once, they're in.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
I do think they should get rid of the European game.
Like, they're trying
the London game?
Yeah, I think they should get rid of that.
Didn't they cancel the international games this year?
I mean,
this year they did. Jake, are you just saying this year or in general?
I mean, try it out this year. Like, maybe move, instead of going to London, go to like Puerto Rico or go to.
They go to Mexico.
Well, but Puerto Rico's still ours.
That's hard to do, though. You have to go to a city big enough outside the United States where people don't care about football.
I just want them to play a game in America still.
Yeah.
I think the international games are a good look because if they go well in the future, maybe it becomes like, an international football league of sorts.
Maybe go international, but not to like a super populated place, so like Iceland or
like
Antarctica.
Just like a Dana White fight island, but like football island.
Yeah, the IFL. But Jake, think about this. International games happen for like the next 5 to 10 years or whatever. Keep popping up in different countries. Everybody starts liking football to the point where, like, I don't know, 30 to 50 countries have like a really good football team. Now football's in the Olympics. That would be sick.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool. And I mean, I would love to see like a country where people are traditionally just smaller physically, just going up against our massive giants.
Hot idea. If football was in the Olympics, that would basically be like a Pro Bowl that mattered because you'd see the best players in American football on one America team. And Oh, that'd just be
And,
so gross.
I feel
They
like
put Tyreek Hill on this
like-
watch.
it'd
That
be
would
like
be more.
it'd be like the basketball in the Olympics where the stars don't really go though. It'd just be like you'd have like Adam Thielen would be like the number one guy because everyone
No,
else
dude,
is
what are
going.
you talking about? The stars don't go right now anymore because they already went. Like,
Well, no, in the NBA, like LeBron James isn't gonna get hurt playing fucking Olympic basketball because he wants titles. Like,
Well,
he'll
but
and like
LeBron James has Olympic gold medals for basketball. What do you mean?
yeah, but he doesn't go anymore. Like, no one
Yeah,
stars
because
don't go.
he already did it. But there's enough players in the NFL who are highly super talented that the first year it happens, I'm sure the best of the best would go.
dude.
And you also got to think like just the infrastructure of America, all the high schools and colleges that groom people up to the NFL. Like no other country could even have such a gathering of players.
But
And that's the
why
point of
it's a
the
good idea
international
It'd
game.
be, it'd be fucked up. Like at least in basketball, like you can build a court and give people basketball and teach them any country on the earth. Like you can't build football stadiums and fund millions of dollars of equipment and infrastructure and like
Yeah, that is.
kids from little gritters.
You
Like-
can though.
I mean,
with
same
the
thing with like
influence of
hockey.
these
Like a lot of
international
people don't
games.
have great hockey teams because hockey's a fucking expensive sport.
Yeah. Like it would be real difficult to pull off.
That would be
But
pretty sweet,
hockey's
though.
stupid though.
How would you guys feel about space station football?
That'd be fantastic.
Zero
Bad.
gravity?
I think that's a dumb idea.
It's a real dumb idea, dude. The ball would just fly forever, Jake.
Exactly.
You gotta think, these
At
dudes
least-
have like 35, 40-inch verticals now with Earth gravity. With zero gravity, they're just gonna go and just jump up and
like NBA Jam.
they just catch the ball and just keep going. And like, oh, and it looks like Tyreek Hill is now on his way to Venus
Yeah, see, we can't be losing Tyreek Hill to Venus. Like,
into space.
but
Like Tyreek Hill is floating through outer space with no return, gonna be out for at least 4 weeks.
listen, if we lost Tyreek Hill in space, that would be an even bigger whoopsie than this week's whoopsie of the week.
I would like to watch a sitcom called Tyreek Hill in Space. I think that would be really funny.
I probably would.
Tyreek Hill in space, dude.
Maybe his kid could guest star.
There you go.
But yeah, so everybody's second favorite segment, the whoopsie of the week. This week, special 4th of July edition. It's going to be a whoopsie of weeks past. And this week's whoopsie is going to be Jason Pierre-Paul blowing his fingers off with fireworks.
Yeah, you gotta pay tribute to the man because he went out with quite a bang a couple of years ago, and he's back in the league. Sacking quarterbacks and doing good with two fingers, and he looks good, dude.
Jake, could you put in some images of his claw?
Oh.
We're gonna have 2 injuries on this podcast. This is
Two
pretty
hand
much the start
injuries,
already.
yeah.
All right, we need a poll that has like Bull's injury and Jason Pierre-Paul's and like.
JPP is
Which one's
clearly worse. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I think the number one thing from the first time you hold a firework, the person who gave it to you says, "You got to be careful because you're gonna blow your hands off."
Yeah.
And as a grown man, that just shouldn't happen.
When I worked for the Harbor Creek Township and did the Harbor Fest, the guy who sets up the fireworks had like little nubs for hands, dude. He had no fingers, and he's like setting up these tubes. I was talking to him. It was
He's like, hold on, like,
yeah, it was
gonna
insane.
light it, like,
So if you spend enough time around fireworks, you will blow your fingers off. It's just a fact.
yeah, they're just consumer-made explosives. That
Yeah.
the whole idea is for them just to go erratically.
Now-
Often sold on the side of a road.
The real question is, though, do you think quarterbacks are more scared of JPP because his hand looks gross now and they don't want him to touch him with it?
I think you can't really factor that in when a 6'6", 275-pound man is flying at you.
I don't
But
know, Austin. When I worked at Kmart, there was a lady who gave me change one time, and all of her fingers were cut off at the nubs. And to give me the change, she dropped it into my hand and scraped the nubs across my palm. I felt very, very strange about it. So if I was getting sacked by that, I think I might be a little weirded out.
He's like the dude from a Scary Movie. He's like, take my good hand.
You were getting sacked by that.
Oh,
God.
well,
See?
I'm
See
sure
what I'm
he's
saying?
wearing a glove with. He wears a glove and there's just like two fingers flopping down in the glove. You don't really
Now,
see.
he has the money. Why not just get like a tailored glove? Or just go around, does he go to
Probably
the and go, slap, 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 with the loose fingers in the glove?
I mean, I'm sure they could just rebuild some like animatronic digits on his fingies there.
Dude, Cyborg League.
Yeah.
That you crack open a whole can of craziness if you start installing animatronic arms and stuff on
He
people.
grabs someone's helmet, crushes it, throws him to the ground.
Yeah, you don't want to increase the CTE. We already have a big enough problem there.
So along with the entertainment and music and movies show that we're going to start, I think we should also start like a robot fighting show.
Whoa, what was that show called?
What show?
BattleBots?
That's what I was getting to. I was going to say, until we create this animatronic people football league, the only show that we're going to be able to talk about is BattleBots.
Actually, you know what? I like where you're going, but I'm going to change it a little bit.
Okay.
What we do, instead of having robots fight robots,
People fight robots.
we have robots fight prisoners on death row, and if they win, they're off death row.
Isn't
Mhm.
there
I
a
don't-
movie where they drop a bunch of guys from prison on an island, they kill each other?
That is
Yeah,
the Condemned
kind of
with
stuff
Stone
like
Cold
that.
Steve Austin.
Oh yeah, it's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
So
So-
for our BattleBots BFF edition, are we designing them, or because on the show they're like a bunch of talented engineers?
Yeah, in
I feel
my
like we
mind,
would
we
just
would,
Time,
we
so
would
it's just like two
talking about
shopping carts
that.
running against each other.
I would just duct tape a chainsaw to like a Roomba and just let it fly around.
So, interesting idea for a revised version of BattleBots. You have the robots fighting in one court, and then in the other court, you have the operators fight each other, like fist fight.
I like that.
Comes out.
And then whoever wins out of that, so like the operator winner and the robot winner, then they fight each other. I want human v robot.
Huffy just sent me some groundbreaking news right here.
What's
What's that?
I saw that you just opened it, and I was just waiting.
What's the news?
Can I read this on the podcast?
Sure, unless it's incriminating.
The Redskins' primary logo used today was first designed in 1971 in close consultation with Native American leaders. Among those who unanimously approved and voiced praise for the logo was Walter Blackie Wetzler, a former president of the National Congress of American Indians, and Chichewan, what's that say? Or chieftain? Huff drew over this, of the Blackfeet Nation.
All right.
Well, I mean, yeah, if that was the context, then I don't see really any problem with it.
I think people are just trying to get triggered and cancel everything nowadays.
I think it's about context.
I don't think so, because I think at that point in time, that chieftain was probably like, hey, this gives us great exposure. But now they're like, maybe that wasn't such good exposure.
If
Well, maybe we should have had more foresight.
If I'm Danny Snyder, I'm just cutting all my proceeds from my games and giving back to the Native American community.
But what would you do if you were Edgar Snyder?
Edgar Snyder and Associates, I would I would start a small personal injury claims lawsuit company.
Now, what would you do if you were Austin Snyder?
But
Now, would you guys want to do like a Madden franchise where each one of us, like we each have a franchise and we become Washington Redskins and we just see which scenario goes the best?
Do you want to do a Madden draft for this podcast?
We could do a live stream, dude.
And Jake couldn't participate. He'd have to go out and buy an Xbox.
Jake could watch and
I
commentate.
mean, well, let's start a Patreon, get Jake an Xbox and Madden, and then we can do that.
Yeah, the only issue is I'm boycotting Madden, but I guess I could for the podcast get it.
We could do a Patreon.
Podcast. Get that.
We could do a Patreon and an OnlyFans.
I've always,
I'm pretty sure at least 3 of us already have OnlyFans. I mean,
on that. Huff hasn't had a job in 2 years, dude. He's been selling images on the internet.
Jake, dudes will pay pictures for your feet if they think they're from a girl.
Yeah, it's called gay for pay.
I could maybe
Not to be
test my right
confused
foot
with
as a
Golden
good-
Flamingo Productions.
I think they could definitely tell by the size of my feet that I would be an over 6 foot woman. But my left
If they like that.
my left foot's starting to get a little fucked, so the left foot's out.
How? Why? Do you have like athlete's foot?
Yeah, so it was I want to say like freshman year football. We were in the practice field, and it was I think it was one of the 2-a-days, but we were in the muck and the mud all day, so I developed athlete's foot on my left foot. Yeah, it sucks balls. It's been that way since literally forever, and now I'm getting some Joey Diaz fungi toe type something going on.
Get some powder.
I didn't know you could have permanent athlete's foot. You should probably get that checked out.
See, I've done powder, I've done lotion, I've done scratching it until it almost bleeds. Nothing's really working, but hey, that's life. But before we hop to the Warily now,
I have something before that too.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take a peeps.
Oh, okay.
I've been holding it in forever.
4th of July peeps break.
Oh yeah, it's a festive one. Honestly, I think
It's a really bad one.
I think that's the move. They should change their name to the Washington Tyler Perry's Medeas.
Oh, Jesus.
Jake,
Austin, those memes look like they're from 2013.
Here,
these
Jake.
are my dad's Facebook memes. Jake, does your dad send you bad memes sometimes?
No, I've told him many times. But
Yeah, Jake. After the
he'll send me things on Facebook like bam, 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 bam. So then I erased my Facebook, and now I just got back on, just like Facebook Marketplace.
My dad sent me this one after the Titans beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Jake, after we cut back from the peeps break, can you cut right to this?
I was gonna cut to Tyler Perry's Medeas, but sure.
Well, no, you can do that. But I thought it'd be funny if you saw this and I went like.
That's a mean-looking eagle, dude.
It is. He looks very angry.
I saw an eagle at the zoo last month, the bald eagle. Those things' eyes are like, when you see them up close, they're freaky.
Yeah, dude, they're raptors. They're birds of prey.
Yeah. It's crazy how they can see like fish in the water, even if the water looks like shit. And
Yeah,
they can,
from like 500 feet or like a mile.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Have you ever been on a paleontology dig site and Dr. Alan Grant takes an eagle's talon and scrapes it up against your belly?
that disgusting kid belly
Yeah.
after you've been talking shit to him all day?
That looks like a chicken.
Is that saltwater taffy?
It is saltwater taffy. We have a Rocket Fizz by us
Do you know why they call it saltwater taffy?
because it's saltwater taffy.
No, there's no salt water in it at all. But there was this taffy shop, and like a hurricane happened, and the water flooded it, and all the taffy got salt water on it. And then after that, they just called it saltwater taffy. But there's no salt water in that actual taffy.
Who is they? Unhinged liberals?
I think it's just people in New York in like the 50s.
So unhinged liberals.
Antifa.
Antifa?
Yeah.
Isn't that a
Antifa invented saltwater taffy.
Yes, they're the weaponized alt left.
I remember I got this piece of mail and it makes sense that it was like snail mail because old people pay attention to mail. And it was a thing like that. And it said something about unhinged liberal terrorists. And it literally had a picture of somebody from the Taliban. Like they had like an RPG and they were in full regalia. And it was like, liberals want you to vote Hillary Clinton. It's like,
It's just a picture of Osama bin Laden in a cave with an
it might as
AK.
well. It might as well have been. And I'm like, there are old
The
people.
radical left.
People sitting in
Johnny
a room right
Anger
now.
probably sent that to you.
Probably. But there's some dude in his house like, Gertrude, look, this is what these unhinged liberals want. And it's just a terrorist. Like,
All right, listen, save it for the political show that we have in the works.
save it for the polls.
Austin, do you want to delve into your newest segment?
Yeah, dude. So for the Where Are They Now, I wanted to do Jason Pierre-Paul, but he's still in the NFL, so that would have been a good 4th of July one. But I'm thinking about 4th of July, Erie, PA, how serious we took 4th of July up there, and it made me think of a hometown hero. So without further ado, that picture is Bob Sanders.
Oh.
Yeah. So Bobby Sanders, he played at Cathedral Prep in Erie, PA, and he had 7 sacks in the high school championship game. He was offered a scholarship to Iowa and earned the nickname Hitman because he was a hard-hitting safety.
Wow.
He was 5'8", 206 pounds, just brick shit house, ran a 4.3, jumped super high. And, his injury-plagued career kind of started off his rookie season. He hurt his knee, didn't really play at all. He was like a backup special teamer. But then in 2006, he only played 4 games, but then he came back just in the postseason, and he just absolutely went off. Their defense went from one of the worst defenses in the league to one of the top in the playoffs. He earned the nickname the Eraser because he was just launching his little tiny body and just destroying people. Yeah,
as erasers do, they destroy things.
Yeah, dude. Takes them out of the game. So they're playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. The Patriots are up 34-31 with 3 minutes left. Bob Sanders dives on 3rd down and deflects a crucial pass from Tom Brady, gives the ball back to Peyton Manning, who leads the game-winning drive. The Colts go to the Super Bowl, face the Bears. In the Super Bowl, Bob Sanders goes off, forces a fumble on Cedric Benson, gets an interception, and then they win the Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl champion. The next season, 2007, Bob Sanders had to play in the box because Dwight Freeney got injured. So Bob Sanders, this is the only healthy season he's ever had. He only missed 1 game. He goes off, has all these tackles, getting sacks, getting picks, and he ends up winning defensive MVP, beating out Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, and Brian Dawkins all in their primes. He was one of the best safeties at the time. And then, the Colts end up signing him to a 5-year, $37.5 million contract, which is a ridiculous contract. And it just goes downhill from there. The injuries pop back up. He ends up playing 4 more seasons, but he only plays 11 games in those 4 seasons.
Jesus.
Yeah. 4
total?
Wow.
Yeah. 4 straight seasons ended on IR.
Yeah.
Bob Sanders had some sweet Ceps. He definitely could have made the list.
Oh yeah. Jake and I actually went to his football camp and got to meet him, and he is the tiniest little hoss that you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah, his neck, dude. His neck is huge.
5'8", ginormous neck, just built like a tank. but he just played too recklessly and threw his body around. So all in all, he played 8 seasons and only played 3 seasons worth of games. But he still was a Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and defensive MVP. So where is he now? Well, he retired in 2011, and he moved with his wife to the West Coast, and they started popping out kids. He has 4 kids now, and he's just basically, a family guy. Just hangs out, with his family, raising his kids. Doesn't post anything on social media. Doesn't do anything crazy. He'll go to a Colts game here and there, and sometimes he's an honorary team captain at Iowa. He'll go back for a game or two. But yeah, he's just a real wholesome guy. Definitely the opposite of Brandon Browner.
Is he still doing little kids football camps?
As far as I could tell, I don't think he is anymore.
Okay.
But that might be due to coronavirus. That might be,
due to
different.
his hatred of children that aren't his.
Yeah. So
That may or may not be true.
I'm glad this Where Are They Now had a happy ending, because after last week, I thought all of these they were just gonna be in like very, very bad life
I'm
situations.
gonna try to alternate them week to
Yeah,
week.
no, I definitely like that because I thought you were about to unleash some bad Bob Sanders news.
Yeah, that he murdered
Bob
like 3
Sanders is
kids or
doing
something.
great.
Turns out he got hit with tax evasion and he's
I do have a guy on the list who did get hit with tax evasion, but we won't get to him.
you don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That was a
Yeah.
good one. Bob Sanders, nice guy.
Yeah, that was great.
Bob Sanders podcast.
Now, Jake, you know what time it is.
I do. It is 10:58. But also time for Jake's fun game of the week. And this one I will say is a bit different. There's not going to be as much media. It's not very specific.
It doesn't seem fun at first, but I promise, I'm thinking like you fans are.
It does
It will
not
be.
It does not seem fun because it seems very simple. And the game is that what is our top 3 favorite things about football season? Sometimes the ones that seem easy are hard, and sometimes the ones that are hard are hard.
They're mostly all.
So Huffy, as the honorable guest, what is your 3rd favorite thing about football season?
We'll go Huffy, Hunter, Austin, me.
My 3rd favorite thing about football season is tailgating because of the culture around it. Everyone's drinking, everyone has food, everyone's playing games, playing cornhole, tossing football around. Oh, it's just an amazing culture. You don't really, you're not off and around 60 or 70,000 people all rooting for the same thing, and it's definitely just a cool environment to be in.
Yeah, dude.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Tailgating is a lot of fun, especially being a Bills fan. I'm sure you guys love the tailgating.
Yeah, last time I tailgated with Jake, he threw up inside his mask.
Oh God, so this is like the worst story. I'll give you the quick version. So the last NFL game I went to was a Bills game. Didn't eat anything, just nothing that day. Start drinking on the way there. From point of starting to walking into the stadium, probably had, I don't know, like 10 or 11, 12 beers maybe. And as we're walking up, I'm feeling great. Once we get into the stadium, not feeling great. Like I was browning to blacking out. And my phone had my ticket on it. We walk through the seats real quick, and then my phone dies. Somehow, I just get lost. I just wander off from the group. So then I'm just walking around aimlessly with no phone, knowing where I'm sitting. So I had to go in to go up to this section. That's a different angle of the field. All right, walk to the down section. I still think it's over one. So I'm just aimlessly
trying to mentally picture what his view was.
Yeah. Mind you, it was to the point that I was just too hammered. I couldn't even find the scoreboard or watch the game. And then there was a point that because it was a cold game, had this ski mask thing on, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna throw up. It's just a fact. I have to throw up. And so I start getting Rick's attention by punching him in the leg. It might have been Hunter, I don't know. And I was like, yo, I gotta throw up. And they're like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? And I was like, damn, if I throw up, I will get kicked out.
No,
So I couldn't just like openly just start yakking. So like I'm looking around trying to think of what to do, and I just kept the mask on and was just like,
Oh,
and it's just like dripping out, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is so bad.
Now, Jake,
the mask.
it was definitely me because I very much remember like just looking at you and being like, "Oh no," and having to like get you up and like walk you into the bathroom.
So Hunter's, I was like, dude, I have to go to the bathroom. Hunter starts walking, and I am like going like a war zone, like just holding onto his shoulder, just like, and then going to the bathroom, yak extremely loud because I'm not a quiet yakker. And then the security guy's like, oh, I hope that didn't happen here. And Hunter plays it cool and says, nah. And the guy's like, okay. And just let it go.
They're used to seeing that kind of stuff, Jake.
Well, see, and also I think a crucial part was that I chose to wear a Bills jersey. If I would have chosen to wear a Jags jersey, they'd be like, get out of here, you fucking bum. Like,
yeah. So just to give everybody an idea of like the level we were on kind of like mentally that day, future guest of the podcast, Bob Jackson, he claims to have been so drunk that he could not see the field from where he was sitting. And keep in mind, if you're in a football stadium, you can see the field from every single seat.
Yeah, I couldn't even find the scoreboard. My objective after I was like, okay, I think I can hold the throw up down, I'm good, was, and mind you, I was like, I just need something to drink that can just like, I need liquid right now. So Bob's like, yeah, I'll go take you to get something to drink. And he just gets me another like 24-ounce beer.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Just leaving you out.
Yeah, I mean, and then Bob got another one too. And I was like, okay. And then so my whole objective was when everybody stands and claps, just stand and clap. When everyone sits down, just sit down. And I rode that the whole way. And I was good. I went under the radar. Oddly enough, me and Bob get lost from the group after the game. And obviously we're both on a different level at this point. And he's like, shit, I have no clue where the car is, and my phone is dead. So as we walk out of the stadium, I have a moment of clarity, and I was like, follow me, Bob, let's go. I catch a second wind, and we are full-blown speed walking, just like, and just go direct beeline exactly to where we were. He's like, I have no clue how you did that. And I was like, honestly, I don't know. But yeah, no, it was a wreck.
Very stark contrast from when you came into the stadium looking like a lost puppy.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like, it was so bad. Like, that experience was funny, but horrible.
No,
but, yeah, so that was a long way to say tailgating is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So my number 3 favorite thing about football season is that you don't have to pay Rick to watch, because we here have a group of friends that we tend to, the people who are still in Erie, Pennsylvania, go out and go to a certain friend's house, and we'll all like watch the thing collectively. In football season, it's just on TV, so you can just watch it. Any other time we watch something, Rick just first, out of nowhere, buys the pay-per-view, buys the UFC, doesn't say anything to anybody, and then at the end of the night, you have a Venmo request for $25.
Yep.
And it's just like, Rick, you could have just told me about it beforehand. Like, I brought $30 worth of food. You don't think that's enough for me to? And I'm just glad in football season there's none of that, because it's annoying.
That is a very personal, very specific favorite.
Yeah. That was very vengeful, H-Dog. You've been holding that in for a while, huh?
I can't say I know that experience.
No, I've definitely got hit by the Venmo from Rick for a pay-per-view. It's always UFC.
Yeah.
It's harder to find the streams on the UFC. Rick wants that high-quality UFC stream.
Much harder.
And now not so much. He'll let you know beforehand. But when it all first started to go down, there was no notice. It was just like, oh, you watched it? You're getting the Venmo request. And if you don't accept it, you're the asshole.
If you don't Venmo him, he does the Mr. Krabs, like rewind it out of your mind.
Yeah. But that's my 3.
All right. Is it me next?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I definitely didn't have that one on my list, but I did have tailgating. But I'd say my number 3 would probably be fantasy football. I just, I get real into the fantasy, and I just like I like how it makes me watch teams that I wouldn't normally watch and root for players that I wouldn't normally. And I just, I find a couple hidden gems, and I like to follow different guys from that. And when you get that championship, you get that money, that little extra bit of cash at the end of the year, feels pretty good.
Yeah, I am excited to hop in and actually play this year instead of just be a pawn.
Also, just the shenanigans that go on with fantasy football, like the backdoor shady deals, the betrayal, the shit talking, the losing friendships,
Names.
trading someone a fake Adrian Peterson for 2 or 3 top tier players, and then having them quit the league permanently.
Yeah. No, we've definitely lost at least 2 friends forever because of fantasy football.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But it's definitely worth it, dude, when you can bring home that Randy Moss trophy.
Yeah.
And completely not worth it when you have to take home the David Carr.
When you get the David Carr, dude, you done fucked up. But yeah, that's my number 3.
That's a pretty good one. My number 3, I would probably have to say being able to tell people you're busy and you're actually just chilling watching football, to just get out of things. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I like to do things with people. I like to, have fun. But it does feel really, really good when someone's like, hey, do you want to go do X, Y, and Z? And you just say, nah, I don't. I'm going to stay home and just watch football. And, that's the small things that I live for. That makes me feel real good on the inside. It's just being able just to say, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and Jake, you get to watch football at fun, convenient times, don't you?
The times here are so much better. They just start early. Like, my late game ends at like 10:30. It's fucking awesome.
That is nice. Mine starts slightly earlier here. Like, the games start at 12 instead of 1.
Yeah, and starting at 11, like, you get up, make some breakfast, bam, there's no waiting. Because, like, waiting for it, that fucking sucks. And then also it's like, oh, it's Sunday, and now you're up super late.
But, Jake, on the flip side of that, you might not have as much time to mess with your fantasy.
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to mess with my fantasy yet.
Well, you're in the league this year, so we'll see.
What's the buy-in for our league?
Don't know. It'll probably be something stupid because we have a bunch of pansies in our league who never want to go over like $20.
It's got to be 50. It should be 50. There's no reason we can't have a one-time payment of $50 for a whole season's worth of football.
You would think that, but Trench is a Nancy boy.
Trench has an adult job now.
It's definitely not Trench. Trench is a high roller when it comes to fantasy, dude.
I would put anything wrong with $100.
It's usually the couple of Scrandies that we put who don't have the highest paying jobs, and but that's usually how it goes.
What we should do, we all should get the same credit card at the same time, and everybody maxes it out, and that's the buy-in.
Agree.
So when you win, it's like $15,000.
I'll call Capital One. I'll get something started.
Yeah.
And the loser, the guy who gets the car trophy also gets hit with the credit card debt.
Yeah, the worst guy has to pay back everybody else's, so they lose $8,000.
They have to co-sign on all our credit cards.
My credit is now 380.
I can't even get an apartment, dude. This league's ruining my life.
Losing fantasy sent me down a spiral. Now I'm smoking crack and sucks dinners. That's hilarious. All right. Huffy, why don't you hit us with number 2?
My number 2 is also fantasy football. One, because obviously all the shit talking and, getting money if you are able to do a good enough job. But also because of fantasy, you are constantly doing research, not only on the top tiers of football players, you're doing it on the flex players, bench players, mid-tier players, and just constantly doing that. You learn a lot more about people and teams and favorites. And yeah, that's a cool little extra part of fantasy football.
You're looking up Christian McCaffrey's backup because his workload's getting kind of high. You think he might get snapped up?
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Am I next?
Quite the style.
It's all you, H-Dog.
Yeah. So I wish my other side of my hair could poof like this, and it was gray because I'd look like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Wow.
Okay.
But my number 2 is also fantasy football. Because a little different, obviously, all the same reasons that you guys said. The animosity, the fighting with your friends and all that is fun. The pulling the strings of the shadows, which I don't do anymore.
Hunter just admitted to collusion. We will keep that clip out.
I just said I don't do it anymore.
Hunter got caught red-handed years ago. We've known. He's a known colluder, known backdoor shady deal.
Listen, not a lot. Okay, so you guys want to hear some real dirt real quick?
Drop it on us, H-Dog.
So not a lot of people caught it in the group me this year. But when we were talking about adding Jake, Tawarski, actually, who is our commissioner, and I'm not trying to throw him under the bus here.
Yeah, you are.
He did send me, in particular, private messages to get my opinion on who we should drop, if we were to drop anybody, and who we were adding and whatnot. I messed up and accidentally replied halfway through our conversation into the main fantasy football group chat.
Remember that?
And everybody was like, oh, what? What are you talking about? And we were quickly like, oh, what? No, we're just trying to figure out how Jake can come into the league, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of am still involved in some shadowy strings, but I don't start it. The commissioner did that to me. So
you were having a conversation with the commissioner, acting like you're innocent. You were the one having the conversation.
Hey, I'm not talking to him. He's talking to me.
He messaged me, and it was all for the betterment of the league. But fantasy football is my number 2 because of all that stuff, and because fantasy football actually got me into football. I started playing Madden. I liked football. And then my uncle was like, yo, if you like Madden, you should play fantasy football. It's fun. And then through playing that, the competitive nature, obviously, to play fantasy football, you have to get involved in the actual game. So that's what gave me my love for football, kind of.
That's fair. That's fair. It's Austin.
All right. Well, I'd say my number 2 is probably just the general NFL storyline that develops throughout the season, like just following different teams and their stories and how they got to where they are. Like I always like watching the Buffalo Bills, for instance. Dude, we've been kind of trash for a long time, and we finally got new ownership, got a new coach, and just following the draft and seeing all these new players develop, like Tre'Davious White coming in to be one of the elite guys. It just oh, geez. Just that, just like the whole storyline and seeing your team evolve is just really cool year to year. You kind of pick up a new episode every year, see how it unravels.
That was really endearing.
Yeah, dude.
No, that's definitely a good one. Just overall fandom, I guess. Being able to follow along with your favorite players.
Favorite players, guys like Kurt Warner, they're bagging groceries. Next thing you know, they're winning Super Bowls.
Are you guys excited about the Kurt Warner movie with Zachary Levi playing Kurt Warner?
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to go.
I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. Chuck will be playing Kurt Warner.
Cool.
Well,
I'm a big Chuck fan.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Chuck?
Yeah.
NBC's Chuck with the theme song from the band Cake. Dum 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 dum.
This sounds like an inside joke between Hunter and Huffy. I can tell because Huffy's uncomfortable smirk on his face.
I'm just talking about NBC's Chuck, and Huffy feels uncomfortable because that's his middle name.
Nicholas Charles.
Wow.
Chuffman.
So my number 2, and I'm trying to not take the easy route. Obviously, I like to, challenge myself with my lists. And real top 3, Yeah, football's on there, like the actual game itself. Okay.
Chuck.
But so the more obscure ones that I like though, my number 2 is I like during football season seeing people wear jerseys in public and then pointing at them and saying, "Oh my God, it's Tyreek Hill," and it's actually like a 7-year-old kid, and they're
Can I
like,
get an
"What?"
autograph?
Or just doing that to random people, and they're like, "What?" Or like seeing these really obscure jerseys, like when dudes still are like out wearing their like Palomalu jerseys, or just like random ass players that people just forgot about. Just the public jerseyness, because obviously every Sunday people are out in their jerseys, and you'll see some obscure ones, or like
See,
the dudes in like the Ravens, the Packers like varsity jacket with these massive patches of all the championships they won, and there's like a walking, Hall of Fame.
see, Jake, with that jersey thing, I like doing that too, but usually it's when people aren't wearing jerseys. So if I see somebody who kind of remotely, just even a little tiny hint or speck looks like an NFL player, I will act and be confident that it is that NFL player. Like Austin and I met Mike Iupati at a literary event one time. Our friend Joe looks a lot like Travis Kelce. I saw a guy who looked like Marshawn Lynch one time.
That guy did not look like Marshawn Lynch.
I don't know.
See,
some kind of dreads thing going on.
No. Listen, I've also met Dan Quinn and Ron Rivera on airplanes.
I think part of the fun is that they don't look like NFL players in the slightest. Like it could even be just like a white trash lady wearing like an Ed Reed jersey. It's like, oh my God, it's Ed Reed.
I want your autograph, Ed.
Yeah. He's like, what? But yeah, that'll be my number 2. This is gonna be such a weird graphic. Like,
yeah.
Telling you, you're gonna need a Rick pick.
My number 1 is NFL hits. There is nothing better than watching someone who weighs 250 pounds running 20 miles an hour and hitting another grown man as hard as he possibly can. There's nothing better than it. You're not going to see it anywhere else in any other sport. Just absolutely trying to lay someone out, and I love the highlights of it.
Huff, are you a big fan of the show Jacked Up?
Yes, I am.
He got jacked up. We need to get a. Oh my God.
That's a picture of Dan Quinn that I took in an airport.
I don't know if that is Dan Quinn, but
as you can see, he's wearing a red polo, the color of the Falcons.
Which confirms that it's him. Nobody else would wear a red polo.
Just wait until I find my Ron Rivera. I don't know if you can see, but that right there is the back of his head.
I also met a.
And he also bald, so that confirms that.
I once met Michael Sam, the first openly gay NFL player on an airplane.
Nice. Do you have a photo in the back of his head?
I probably do somewhere.
What did you guys talk about?
I just said, well, no one's going to recognize him because he was like a 7th round pick. And I don't think he even ever played a real game. But
that's Ron Rivera in an airport Dunkin' Donuts.
That looks like a Google image.
That's not Ron Rivera, dude.
Austin.
It's definitely
this man on a connecting flight.
Look at those glasses.
Oh, maybe that is Ron.
Look at the gray stripe in the hair.
Maybe that is Ron Rivera. All right, hold on. I'm looking for my picture of Michael Sam, dude.
I only need to meet Bruce Arians and Sean Payton, and I will have met the entire NFC East or whatever that is as head coaches.
But
and by meet, I mean I've seen them from a distance.
Looked at them and then swiped a picture and walked away.
With Michael Sam, the first thing I noticed was this guy was much larger than the average human. Just hoss, huge biceps, and he was like, we're just standing in line, like, you know how you have to be like A6 through 12. He was behind me, and like I saw him, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He looks like a linebacker or something. And then like I'm looking at him and like I'm staring at him and he's just like looking down at his phone and he's right behind me and I'm just like looking at him. And then I'm like, I noticed like his teeth, like it just clicks in my head. I'm like, that's fucking Michael Sam, dude. I go on his Instagram and there's a picture of him like wearing the same outfit he is now, posted like earlier that day. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's Michael Sam. And I get on the plane and he's sitting in the row next to me. And I'm like, hey, are you Michael Sam? And he's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. And that's like all I said to him. Dude.
Did he say, "Are you Austin Snyder"?
No, I had no idea who I was.
Damn.
But that would have been cool if he recognized me.
Yeah, that's sweet. Is it me now?
Yeah, it is.
And this is number one?
Yes.
So my number one, and I think this is because I am a fan of a perennially bad football team, but my number one favorite thing about football season is hope. Because at the beginning, it's not funny, Jake, it's true. At the beginning of the season, no matter what team you like, you could even like the Browns, and there's still a chance because nobody knows. And those like first 1 to 3 weeks, you have just as big of a shot as anybody, and it feels nice.
And Hunter, I'd also tie in, like you and I have an immense love for the draft. And I'd say a lot of that has to do with hope, dude. Like you start
Absolutely,
to envision these guys like, oh, maybe this is the draft, dude. We got, Jalen Ramsey in the first, and
Miles Jack in the second.
And you
Dwayne Gratz in the third.
start peeking at the third, fourth, and fifth rounds and really hoping that they turn out good, dude.
Elvin in the fifth.
You're like, this guy could be a Richard Sherman. He could be.
Yeah. But that's why, friends like Rick, Steelers fans, they don't care about the draft because they're picking, 26, just taking Bud Dupree's, and there's no point.
So I found my Michael Sam picture. This is him. That lady clearly sees me taking a picture of him.
Oh, yeah, she's staring directly in the camera.
And then we get on the plane, and he sat in the aisle over, like, one up, and I tapped him on the shoulder and said, are you Michael Sam?
Was his shoulder beefy?
It was huge.
Nice.
He's probably 250 pounds, 6'1".
Oh, that's a heavy dose of beef right there.
Austin, what's your number one?
My number one would be just chilling with bros watching a game, dude. Like being in Pennsylvania growing up when it was cold and there's literally nothing to possibly do besides gather in the trap with our jackets because there's no heater and just sit around, drink beers, and watch a football game. And just absorb that experience together and kind of talk shit and make jokes at the game. Or even, Huff, do you remember when we watched the Miracle Penn State game together? Our
Iowa game?
against Iowa, dude?
A lot of stuff happened that day.
We saw Trace McSorley thread that needle into triple coverage. I don't think my mind has ever been blown from a single play that hard ever.
End of the game and just catches a fourth quarter touchdown as time expires, looks at like a 10-year-old kid in the crowd, dead silent, just goes, oh my God.
Yeah, our minds may have been altered that night, but that game certainly had a lasting impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate number one. Like,
just real quick, Jake, if I remember correctly, that was a bad night for me, but go on.
I don't know specifically that night, but I'm just saying spending time with your bros is the ultimate number one. I mean, that whole precedent is like how this show started, just some friends talking about football. That's the real number one.
Here, dude. Just bros watching football, focusing.
Do you remember what Jack's argument was about athletic and like agility?
About speed and agility?
Yeah, he's like, does that require athletic ability? I can't remember what it was.
That was around the same time him and Rick were arguing about poor people can't eat healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That's
crazy times.
Yeah, that's that. We'll save that for our insane debates podcast.
Yeah.
But my number one.
The IDP.
Yeah. My number one is probably.
Your number one was
And, I do have some honorable mentions after this. I think there's so many we could do at least one each.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite, and this kind of buddies on the fact of hanging out with your bros, is just the football watch party food. Because it's either like mini weenies with the cheese, or it's buffalo chick dip, or just massive amounts of case. It's just like food made for so many people that there's gonna be a period you can just go in and just start hossing, and it doesn't affect it. There's still so much food left over, and you just sit there, just drink some beer, eat a mega fuck ton of food, and like that's what living's about, you know. It's just eating a bunch.
There'll be like 8 minutes left in the third quarter, and you've already eaten so much food, but you're like, oh, I know the chicken dip's in there, and I want more.
And it's
a giant crock pot.
By the end of the game, like the food is like cold, but you're still just like munching on it. So like you eat the food from its hottest, slowly get colder and colder and colder, and then it's to the point where it's just less than room temperature, and it's awesome.
The food is getting older and colder, but you're drinking more beers.
Exactly. So
it just
levels out, and it's like I think I've been eating room temperature the whole time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at some point.
But yeah, I do love me some snacks. I'll tell you what, like the Marcinko pepper jelly and cream cheese.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, that is
very delicious.
I will say
good.
That all kind of depends on where you go, because if you go to like a Bob and Ashley's house, Ashley will have made like several very nice dishes, and they're all delicious.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like the rye bread and like some leek dip, like that's a Bob and Ashley special. That shit's so fire.
Sure, but then you go to like, and I hate to keep doing this to my boy Rick.
No, don't do Rick like that.
You go to like a Rick's house.
Rick podcast. This is the first one that we've talked about Rick, and I think we're doing the man dirty. I think you're doing the man dirty.
I'm just trying to say Rick is going to Venmo you and not have any snacks, dude.
You're going to go to Rick's house, and you have to bring the snacks. So the only snacks there is going to be like a party-sized bag of chips that goes way too quick. And he's probably going to look at you and be like, oh, you got this kind?
Cut my man a break, dog.
He can defend himself if he ever comes on the show. We'd love to have him on.
Wow. There's going to be a rap battle type
no, there probably won't, because I don't think he watches it, so he'll never see this part.
Wow. Until we post on YouTube, like, Hunter hates Rick? Question mark?
We like send the link right to Rick.
Make an anonymous email and say, we think you can see this.
No, I love Rick. He's definitely one of my best friends, but the Venmo request and the
I will say Rick did introduce me, and I think a lot of us, to the Doritos sweet chili mixed with the queso, and that is one of the all-time premium Joni snacks.
So,
no,
to
Rick,
be fair, the flavor maybe, but mixing it with the queso, I think that might have been a me.
I think that was Rick.
I think Rick was on the, these are already flavorful. Why do we need to dip them in cheese train? Yeah. And I was like, well, try it.
And now we definitely have to have him on, because we need to settle this on who decided that was the move. But for all the fans out there, the purple bag of Doritos with some nice Tostitos queso, it'll do you right. It might lodge your aorta with some gunk, but it's good.
Also, you just heat up a whole can of Hormel chili.
Oh, yeah. Hormel will make you poop.
Toss that.
But do you guys have any honorable mentions?
I have one.
Just rifle them off.
My honorable mention, things I like about football season, is when there's a penalty on the field and both sides are like, it's on them, it's on them, it's on them. And they know it for sure. When in reality, like, it's clearly just on one of them and there's no possible way it could be the other way.
Yeah.
I like when people say, let the boys play, or let them play the game, when there's blatant penalties.
Well, they're letting them play today.
Or like when middle-aged guy's like, well, back in my day, that hit would have been good.
Yeah.
Back when the hit a receiver.
He's like, what? That's football, baby.
Why don't they just play flag football, huh?
Yep.
You telling me I can't land on the quarterback? Come on now.
I'd say one of my honorable mentions would be back when we used to play football, just like the preseason, right before the season starts, you're getting in really good shape. Just the smells of being in the locker room, just getting dirty every day in the
Smells.
practice. Oh yeah, dude. There's just a certain smell of the
The
football.
morning glories.
Fresh cut grass.
Yeah, dude, that sun's coming up and Coach B is making you do some morning glories.
Morning glory.
Everyone has super tan calves and forearms, but nothing else.
There's a picture that my dad sent me from like sophomore year when we did that little kids camp, and I look like I am a foreign exchange student. Like I am so goddamn dark, just from being on the sun all day. And then everybody has those like quarter high tan lines from the Nike socks.
Yeah, I would purposely not wear the Nike socks so I didn't have ridiculous tan lines.
Yeah.
Coaches have like sunglass tan lines.
Yeah.
Heat acclimatization.
But yeah, dude, I just like the preseason. You just get in the best shape of your life. Everyone's fucking sunburnt and having a good time.
Definitely.
Huffy, do you have
Drinking
any
from the trough.
honorable mentions?
I just like the drama that usually breaks out. It's usually like a quarterback calls out a team, or like Jalen Ramsey calling out trash quarterbacks. Like, this guy's trash, he's trash. I just like good trash talk between players.
Okay.
That is a good one. I like Sunday game day traffic because one of my biggest stresses in life comes from traffic and people driving like pussies. And during game day, if you have to run out and get something, there's nobody on the road. So you can just Need for Speed, just go all the way. So that's a great one.
Okay. Well, that was a fun game, Jake. That was more fun than I thought it was going to be.
It was fun, yes.
I won't question your prompts anymore.
Better not.
But without further ado, do you guys want to break down the most recent round of the Sweetest Ceps bracket?
Most definitely.
Yeah, dude.
So if you guys want to scroll down, this week is very, very tough.
Straight.
First matchup, as you can see, we have Joey Bosa versus Jalen Smith. I have the numbers up right now. I don't know if you guys do, but
I just put it on the.
Okay, so if you guys aren't looking at the numbers, Huffy, who do you think wins this one?
Jalen Smith.
Austin?
Yeah, I'm going with Jalen Smith on this one.
Jake?
Hands down, Jalen Smith.
So the fans agreed with you guys. Jalen Smith won with 100% of the vote.
His right arm looks bionic. Like, that looks like it's created in a lab.
It does, but I think in future episodes, if we don't find a better picture of Jalen Smith, he's going to lose because he's covering that one up.
Yeah.
He looks like a Mortal Kombat character with that arm.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I think that's more of the cool design in his hair, too. Like he's got some Cyrax stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely. He is a robo machine man.
Yeah.
But this number 2, I think I may have an unpopular opinion, but my vote goes to Melvin Gordon.
Huffy, I almost called you Nick. I almost threw up in my mouth a little bit. I felt so weird.
Nicholas, you want to give your vote? I'm also going to vote for Melvin Gordon.
Austin.
Yeah, I really don't think this is that controversial. Like, Aaron Donald's huge, but this is not the mass contest, dude. This is the Sweetest Ceps.
Okay.
And Melvin has some sweet dogs on him.
So who was up against Aaron Donald last week? Because I'm pretty sure I voted for them,
Watt.
and all you guys said the opposite thing.
JJ Watt. But they're both bricked up. Aaron Donald was just like
thick.
Yeah, Aaron Donald, dude, when you have two mass biceps going up against each other and one's bigger, you're going to take the bigger one, dude.
That's strength. He's not working out for big biceps to be strong. He's just thick and strong. That man doing deadlift.
Yeah, and I mean, I think because he was against J.J. Watt, and the thing is J.J. Watt's arms are much more disproportional than than Aaron Donald because like his biceps are smaller, and his shoulders are way massive. Like he clearly does not hit enough biceps. But last round was last round. This round is this round, and I think Melvin Gordon has just nicer biceps per se.
Well, I might even agree with you guys, but it really doesn't matter what I think because the vote, fellas, Aaron Donald has 73%. Melvin Gordon only has 27.
Wow.
Now, this could be a case of Aaron Donald is the best player in football. Melvin Gordon is potentially a backup to Philip Lindsay scenario.
Aaron Donald has his shirt off in the photo. You're seeing all his muscles. All you can see in Melvin is his forearms and eyes.
That's a gym flex photo, too. Very controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is maybe for the next one we'll have to get a non-Aaron Donald.
That's why initially I said all of these should be on the field, not just in the gym pic.
Sent the Aaron Donald in the gym pic, so I don't want to hear it.
Aaron Donald's a sleeve guy, I think, on the field.
Our graphics guy has the final say.
So
I'm gonna look up pictures right now. If Aaron Donald primarily wears sleeves, I'll send Melvin Gordon through. I don't care because we're not having sleeve bitches in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been Aaron Donald wearing sleeves. Look, he's wearing sleeves.
Get him out of here.
Honestly, I think for the number of times that we have just said the word sleeves, his computer picked it up and is going to give him more sleeve pictures.
Yeah.
We were talking about
my mic turned off.
We were talking about Hunter's Eagles shirt, and I went on Instagram, and the first post I saw was Barstool Sports, and they just posted a video of an eagle like getting a fish out of the water.
Very majestic.
Well, I don't know how you made it this far. I don't know how you squeaked through the cracks, you sleeve-wearing mother trucker. But, Melvin Gordon, welcome to the next round, buddy.
Wow.
God damn. This whole time, right under our noses. What a
wrap. Had no idea. Austin, I wish you would have spoken up sooner.
I really didn't want to skew the results, dude.
We could have put Jalen Ramsey on the list.
No.
He's got sweet Ceps.
Well,
probably sweeter Ceps than anybody else on the Rams besides Aaron Donald, who doesn't wear sleeves.
Maybe.
Do you think it's Cooper Kupp? Because it's not.
All right, let's move on to the next one, dude.
All right, so the next one.
These are two prime pieces of meat right here.
We have the poster boy for Sweet Ceps himself, Danielle Hunter, versus underdog, dark horse in the race, Larry Ogunjobi. But I hate to say it, guys. I know we wanted to see him go far, and he did go far, but I think his luck has run out a little bit at this point because Danielle Hunter's up 80% on Big Larry.
When I first saw this picture of Larry, I could not imagine someone, having bigger arms than him, let alone a skinnier guy like Danielle Hunter. But when you look at these pictures, Hunter's got a couple inches on that dude. And they're freaking cut up.
I think we have to agree with the fans on this one.
They got the hostess vein too.
My vote went for Danielle Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Larry. Larry beat Myles Garrett on his own team, which was the underdog story to begin with. So he made it far.
Yeah. So thanks for playing, Larry, but your journey ends here. So this next one, I might want to do something with because
do something.
Yeah.
So ruin the integrity of the game?
Yeah. So it's Tyreek Hill versus Khalil Mack. And this picture that we found of Tyreek Hill, it's crazy. His Ceps are off the charts. And if you ask me if I am just looking at purely biceps in these two pictures, I think Tyreek Hill's are more impressive.
I disagree.
Contention.
I disagree heavily. Austin, did you say you disagree too?
I disagree as well, dude.
Yeah.
And Huff and I have been known to spend a lot of time in the gym on our biceps.
On our biceps.
But Hunter, when I'm looking at Khalil Mack's arm, he's got a vein that looks like the Euphrates River flowing down that bad boy. And they're like long bars of mass that are definitely thicker than Tyreek Hill's like bulbous ball of bicep. So when you take that into account, dude, like those are some monstrous arms right there, dude.
I just wish we could somehow throw Aaron Donald out of the list and like keep Tyreek Hill for one more round.
The matchup, man.
Wow.
See, I think I'm Team Tyreek all the way. Because my number one judgment of biceps is the bulbosity of them.
Bulbosity? You don't like a long, thick bar?
And I think bulbosity is more of an impactful thing. Like when you see a bulbous bicep like Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek's arms are more compressed. Khalil Mack's are elongated right now.
There's definitely that. I'm sure at the same angle, Khalil Mack's are just as bulbous.
We're split 2-2. What do the fans say?
Yeah, the fans are going to be the truthers on this one.
You know what the fans say? Our fans are plebeians. They only go off a name value.
These are two of the biggest superstars in the league. It's not like one is head and heels above the other.
They're just on the name brand game.
The Hot 32, we didn't say Khalil Mack once. For the past couple of weeks, we've had a couple Tyreek Hill ones.
Yeah.
We're always talking about Tyreek Hill, dude.
What are the fans?
What did it say, dude?
You know what the fans say.
That's why I'm asking. I want to know.
Yeah, we do not know what the fans said.
I do know what the fans say. Tyreek Hill has 36% of the vote.
He's getting destroyed, Hunter. That 36 is probably you and Jay.
Our fans know their Ceps.
Yeah.
Our fans are idiots.
And you want more subscribers, and you're calling them idiots out there?
I want some smarter subscribers. Yeah.
I'm about to take back my sub.
I want some intellectual types who can look beyond the stats and the hype and look at the Ceps.
I'm talking about Ceps, baby. I want Ceps. I want no intellectuals. Well, actually, if you were I want Ceps. That's what I want.
That's what I just said.
Any actuallys.
So,
yeah.
I guess Khalil Mack goes through.
And he deserves to.
So the semifinals will be Jalen Smith v. Melvin Gordon and Tanel Hunter v. Khalil Mack.
Oh, that's spicy. Oh.
Can we take Jalen Smith out and do Melvin Gordon versus Tyreek Hill?
Why are you so hard on the integrity of the game?
Jalen Smith has sleeves.
Hunter's got collusion in his veins, dude. We need to cut it off where we
Hunter,
it's not my veins. I'm the first in my family to be collusive.
We are your shadow government support group, and we're not going to let you fall into those temptations.
No, you're not. Each and every one of you has been a part of a shadow ploy in some way or another, have helped or have just been a bystander.
But you've orchestrated. You're
using your friends in your plans, and enough is enough.
We're an accessory.
Right.
We're the primary.
Anytime I manipulate somebody, it's always for the greater good.
Oh.
I think for the finals, we should take 5 pictures of all these guys and just have a good pool of pictures, because some of these are gem picks, some are action picks. We got different angles. We need
that's a good point
example to draw from.
That's a good point. I will say, Hunter, you're saying that all of us were involved in the collusion, but the common factor between all of those situations is you, dog.
I didn't say it wasn't.
What's up?
When have I been involved in collusion? Or Huffy, for that matter?
Austin, we have had a separate group me called the Shadow Government that you have been.
I forgot about that, dude.
Oh, you forgot about that.
Okay. I was the commissioner.
Oh, I forgot.
So, Jake, yes, of course I am involved in all of it, but that's because I want the best for everybody. And sometimes when people don't see the best option, you have to make them see it. And sometimes you have to make it think that it was their own idea, and that's the best way to get things done.
Hunter, you're an addict. You're addicted to collusion.
Hunter once told me that he wanted to get a tattoo
Of a wolf in sheep's clothing?
a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that tells me a lot about Hunter, dude. About where he's at with this collusion deal.
Hunter, don't worry. We're gonna be here with you through this whole thing, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough letting these guys go through and letting good ones die young. But that's part of the process.
You guys are going to start episode 12, and you're going to see Tyreek Hill in here. And you're going to be like, wait a minute.
I'm just saying right now, I will guarantee you guys, this fantasy football season, I will have pulled a string of some sort. All I know, first fantasy football string I pulled ever, I fixed the draft, okay? We did a live draft. Listen.
I fixed the draft, so hey, but that was a tiny thing.
Well, you should know now that I'm on my fantasy path of righteousness because I'm putting it out all on the table.
You just said you're gonna commit another.
Listen, but that's for the greater good, though.
The first part, acceptance.
This was not the greater good. This was just the good of me. Now everything I do is for everybody.
I know the best team for everybody else, so I'm gonna fix the draft.
So first year, we drew numbers out of a hat to see who picked what pick, and I carried the hat around. I just held the number I wanted in my hand. So I did that.
What number was it, Hunter?
What?
What number was it?
Probably like 3.
Did you win that?
What a rat.
I don't know. But then, there's the classic year when I spent all the money.
Yeah, that was definitely the most fucked of all.
That one is actually a bit dastardly.
Yeah.
A bit. Yeah, I know. I said I would hold on to this and keep it safe. And
I had a good-looking team, Jake. All the sabermetrics were pointing to me winning. So So spent all the money. Had to pay Tworski back. One in recent memory, Bull joined the league one year. He didn't have enough money at the time to join. So I funded Bull's team under the condition that I basically ran Bull's team and had 2 teams and 2 possible shots at winning.
Wow, I didn't even know about that one, dude.
Yeah.
It's so dastardly.
And we already went over the Tworski involving me because he knows. He knows I know what's best for the league.
That's done.
I'm speechless.
And there's little shadies popped in and out everywhere. There's the one thing that is
what he
The
calls
list just keeps going.
yeah, no, there's many more.
here and there.
It's like a scroll that hits the ground and just rolls out.
The one that people think is collusion and shadiness and whatnot that is not at all is the Jimmy Graham scenario.
Dude, that was definitely shady.
That's not shady.
I just didn't care.
That is just Jake not being educated at the time, and whoever I traded was doing good at the time.
Now, I'm not going to lie. If anybody were to have been like, hey, I'll give you this person for that person, I literally would have been like, sure, I don't care. But it still was you, Hunter.
Hunter, I believe you traded a backup whose starter was coming back the next week, and he was doing good up to that point. Maybe it was D'Angelo Williams and Le'Veon Bell was coming back the next week for the top tight end in football, maybe top 2.
Hunter is
You guys
America.
know what I'm doing right now?
I think at that year, Jimmy Graham
Hunter, are you dying on the cross?
Yeah, I am.
God.
That's how I feel being in our fantasy league.
I
I'm
will
dying for everybody else's sins.
I will spend the money for everybody else.
Yeah, that was.
I know how to spend it better.
Yeah.
No, that was.
You guys would have bought dumb stuff like food and gas and bills.
I never once said that. I just spent the money because I thought it was going to be mine.
I've always tried to conduct myself with honor in this league, Hunter, except for that one year when I sold my soul to Fantasy Satan.
Yeah, that was messed up. But the year that I turned my fantasy cheek because of the enforcer situation and all that shenanigans, since then I have been walking a path of fantasy righteousness, and that is the gosh darn truth.
But you still plan to pull one string.
But here's the thing, dude. The fantasy gods, if they sense any kind of collusion, they don't let you win.
Listen, I draw the fantasy F on my chest when I'm praying to the fantasy gods every day before the game.
They'll let you taste success. They'll let you maybe even get to the Super Bowl, but they won't let you bring home the Randy. Not without a clear path of righteousness from the draft to the championship.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice for everyone.
Yeah, it's a little lesson everyone can learn.
Perfect lesson to end on, I think.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being a guest, Huffy, on this 4th of
Absolutely. I'm excited to do a fantasy draft. I really hope we can get a word on when the NFL season is going to start because I just really want to draft.
We should do a draft as soon as this is over.
We could start doing some fantasy insight.
Definitely. I mean, closer to the season, I feel like this show is going to turn into primarily a fantasy show, and especially the drama that pops up in our league.
I mean, when's the league supposed to start up? In August?
That's usually when it goes down, 3rd week of August.
Yeah, the first game September 13th on my birthday.
Now, if you guys go back to Fox and Hound to do that free $50, can you?
Fox and Hound is closed forever. Not a restaurant anymore.
Wow.
We can do a Zoom draft, dude.
We'll have to do a Zoom draft.
Well, I was gonna say maybe you could maybe send me some of those $50 worth of appetizers in the mail, but if they're not a restaurant anymore, then that would be impossible.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, thanks again, Huffy, for being a guest on this.
Absolutely.
On this 4th of July morning.
I'm happy we got all the tanks out for the 4th.
Hopefully, everybody.
Oh, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Not much. We have a special guest who just slid in, by the way. Oh,
is that Ford?
Yes, it is Ford.
What's up, Ford?
And Rick. Oh my God.
Rick! Oh,
Rick!
Our guest just keeps scrolling.
Rick, you missed it. There was a lot of shit talked on.
Rick wasn't gonna pull up.
Yeah, Hunter's talking mad shit on you, dog, on this podcast.
It's true. So on
Hunter, don't try to end it here, dude. Are you trying to end it out?
No, I was gonna tell Rick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Rick, our game this week was favorite things about football season. And my number 3 on the list was not having to pay you to watch. Because I feel like every time we hang out, it's always a UFC fight or something. And not so much anymore because now it's the precedent that we're going to have to pay for it. But in the early days, we would just show up and then leave and we'd have the Venmo request.
Oh, Rick will always hit you with the Venmo request.
Oh, Ford verified.
If it's a pay-per-view event and all the
It's not implied when someone's bringing like $35 worth of food and shit.
Oh, well, I mean, and that's fine. And then you did, and then I didn't take payment from you, so that was fine.
But the request still happened.
I sent the request to everybody. I mean, so I'll probably pay more money than you for that event.
Okay.
Oh,
wow. And then
also, Rick, was it you or Hunter who came up with the idea to put the sweet chili Doritos in the queso?
Automatically it's not Rick, dude. You had to think about it.
Yeah. So, Rick, we determined, well, at least my perspective on it was that you were the one to popularize the sweet chili Doritos, obviously.
That's a fact.
But I think you were on the train of they already have so much flavor. Why would you dunk it in the cheese? And I was like,
I don't know if I was on that train ever. I don't know about that.
Just as we thought that episode was ending.
You got your answer finally. How have you been?
I've been great. Doing good.
Listen, I don't want to know how Ford has been on the show, okay?
That's not football talk.
Rick, Hunter also says that you don't supply a banquet of delicious snacks when you host football games.
I don't host anything at my house. We were at Isaac's house. No,
Rick. Rick. Listen, Listen. If there ever is anything at your house, though, the reason why this was brought up is because I said if you go to like a Bob and Ashley's, for example,
Yeah.
Ashley has prepared a bounty of things that she like made with her hands.
Yeah.
But if we go to somewhere like a Rick's house, we bring the food, and some of the times I don't feel like the food is appreciated because it might not be like a good flavor or something.
Wow. I always appreciate the food you bring on.
So I
Well,
think
I'm glad we cleared that up.
I think what we discovered here is that it's Ashley's fault that she's not making snacks for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ashley's just, I can't really match that precedent. She's just, you know, that's her. That's her.
Well, should when we end this, should I give Ford and Rick the outfit reveal?
Yeah, I guess give them the reveal, and then we'll call it a day.
Oh, my. Yeah,
Nice.
you're, oh, geez, yeah.
Those are some legs right
You're really
Okay.
committing to the bit.
It's the 4th of July, Ford. It's not a bit.
I appreciate
It's
that.
about freedom and eagles, dude.
Not everything has to be a bit, Ford.
That's true.
Wow.
But that's pretty funny that got resolved by Rick just showing up at my house. That was sweet.
That was great. But
I thought you wouldn't pull up, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, we're here.
His ears were burning.
But I think we can call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rick, we hope to see you back on another show. Even you, Ford.
Oh, I would love to be back.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll have you as a guest sometime. The list is overflowing, but we'll fit you in.
We do have a lot of guests, so we're at least gonna be on here for another 10.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
all right.
Happy
See
4th
ya.
of July.
I don't know where Huffy went, but
You went outside. I
Yeah,
think
see you
he was-
later.